I bought the radio because my apartment felt too quiet at night. The place isn't big, just a small bedroom, a narrow hallway, and a living room with thin walls that make every sound echo a little too much. One evening after work, I stopped at a thrift shop near the train station. That's where I saw the radio sitting on a dusty shelf. It looked old, probably from the 80s. The antenna was bent and the tuning dial scratched loudly when I turned it. But when I plugged it in to test it, the speaker came alive with that familiar crackling static. I liked it. There was something comforting about the sound. So I bought it and placed it on the small table next to my bed. Most nights, I'd turn it on just to hear distant stations fading in and out while I fell asleep. But one night, the radio turned on by itself, and the clock beside my bed read 3:07 a.m. At first, I thought I had accidentally left it on earlier. Still half asleep, I leaned over and reached for the volume knob. But before I could turn it down, I noticed something strange. The radio wasn't playing music. It wasn't a talk show either, just static. But hidden inside the static was something else. A voice, very faint, like someone whispering from far away through a weak signal. I turned the tuning dial slowly, expecting the sound to disappear when I changed frequencies. But the voice didn't move. It stayed exactly where it was, waiting inside the noise. That's when I started listening more carefully, trying to understand what the voice was actually saying. For almost a full minute, I couldn't understand anything the voice said, just broken words and strange pauses. Then suddenly, I heard something clear. "Billy." The voice said my name slowly, almost carefully, like someone testing how it sounded. I sat up immediately. My heart started beating faster as I stared at the radio. There was no way that could be real. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe someone on the radio had the same name. But then the voice spoke again. And this time, it asked a question. "Can you hear me?" The words were quiet, but they were unmistakable. I should have turned the radio off. That would have been the normal reaction, but instead, I answered, "Yes." The moment the word left my mouth, the static stopped, completely. The room went silent. Then the voice came back. This time it sounded clearer, closer. "Good," the voice said, "because I can see you." My entire body froze, and a second later, I heard breathing. Not from the radio, but from somewhere behind me. I live alone in a second-floor apartment in an old building downtown. The place isn't scary or anything like that, just old. The floors creak sometimes, and the hallway lights flicker if you leave them on too long. But until a few months ago, nothing strange ever happened there. One night, around midnight, I was lying in bed watching videos on my phone when I heard a sound from the other side of my bedroom door. 3 knocks. Slow. Heavy. I sat up immediately. No one ever comes to my apartment that late. But the knocks came again. 3 slow taps. From the door. I got out of bed and walked toward the door. At first, I assumed it was my neighbor. Maybe they needed help with something. So, I unlocked the door and opened it. The hallway was empty. No one standing there. No footsteps walking away. Nothing. Just the long hallway stretching toward the stairs, and the light at the far end was flickering slowly. The next night it happened again. 3 knocks, exactly the same as before. But this time, something else followed. A voice. It sounded like a child, soft, quiet, almost playful. "Can I come in?" The voice came from the other side of the door, and for some reason, it sounded like the person speaking was smiling. I didn't open the door that night, or any night after that. But every night around midnight, the same thing happens. 3 slow knocks, then silence. And after a few seconds, that same quiet voice asks the same question. "Can I come in?" And no matter how long I stay awake, the voice never goes away. When I first moved into my apartment, the closet door didn't seem strange at all. It was just an ordinary sliding door next to my bed. But after a few nights, I started noticing something strange. Every morning, the door was slightly open, even though I clearly remembered closing it before going to sleep. At first, I blamed the hinges. Maybe the door was loose. But after a week, the same thing kept happening. Every morning, the closet door was open just a few inches. One night I woke up suddenly. I don't know what woke me, but the room felt strange, too quiet. Then I heard a sound, a slow creaking noise coming from the closet. The door was opening right in front of me. I looked at the clock next to my bed, 3:12 night. The door kept moving slowly, opening a little wider every second, like someone inside the closet was pushing it. But I knew something impossible. The closet wasn't big enough for a person to stand inside. The next day, I installed a small camera facing the closet. That night, the door opened again, exactly at 3:12. But when I checked the footage the next morning, I saw something that made my stomach drop. The closet door didn't open by itself. Something inside pushed it open.